very many people that use Ichimoku talking about the cheapest band. I think it's pretty important. It's phenomenal for finding support and resistance levels. So
right, we are starting to go live at the moment. Keepers, I'm close to you guys. Apologies for that. Busy setting up a little bit of a workspace here in the bedroom. Just got home this morning. So landed, what was it, 10 hours ago here at the house with the boys, and have spent let me fix this. A little bit of background noise. Yeah, excuse the technical challenges. Just setting up for the bedroom here. Just got home this morning, so haven't had a lot of time to do a lot of work. Been catching up with the kids and catching up with a bit of sleep. But I'm excited about tonight's call because I want to maybe help bring some clarity to how we process information. Because I think part of what's happening at the moment is there's a lot of changes that are happening on our back offices. A lot of the new platforms and products are going live and starting to talk to our existing platform. Obviously, that's creating a lot of glitches as well. And so hopefully tonight, I can put in some helpful thinking or helpful analogies that'll help us process some of these changes. But before we do, let me quickly click recording. Record. Where is the record button?
It's already on record, Bruce.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. That's fantastic. Yeah, good. So then we can actually dive straight into this so we don't waste any time. These power half-hour calls, as you all know, are only 30 minutes long. And so we want to try and jam-pack small bite-sized pieces of information every day to help the community move forward with any changes, any announcements, any new products or platforms that have come on board. And so tonight's call is about really positioning that with everybody. So having said that, I want to dive into it. We are going to go to the trusty flip chart tonight. And the trusty flip chart is the title of keys to passive income. In other words, what keys have arrived in our community that we can use to unlock different value propositions, different products, different markets even. I want you to imagine this analogy that you've got a bunch of keys, and one unlocks your home, one unlocks your office, one unlocks the car. Every key has a specific function to something that is relevant in your life. And so I want to talk about the keys that the company has brought into our ecosystem since the Dubai event. Because if we can understand the keys and we can understand what they unlock, then we can better represent the company and products to the right people. You don't want to be unpacking keys to a car if someone is looking to get property. You don't want to unlock keys to a property, a home, if someone is looking for a workspace. You want to have the appropriate key unlocking the appropriate vehicle or product. Does that make sense? Just a very quick yes, that makes sense. So let's understand the keys, or no, where are we going with this? Okay, it's absolutely fine if it's some no's in there. Hopefully, as we start playing with this, we'll start understanding the analogy a bit better. But the first key I want to talk about is the key that we have had for the last 6 months. The first key I want to talk about is G999. And really, this is the key that we've all taken time to understand over the last 6 months. This is a utility token, and it has unlocked the ability to earn passive income through things like staking and through things like noding and through vehicles like DeFi. So G999 has a utility in the telecommunication space. It has utility in emails and privacy, and it also allows us to earn a passive income. Now, what are we waiting for G999 to do? We're waiting for it to grow in price value. And the growth of G999 is only possible when two things happen. One, the supply and demand changes. In other words, the number of coins out in the marketplace are reduced whilst the supply increases. That's one of the things that we're waiting for. And vehicles like staking and noding and DeFi help reduce the supply whilst whilst the community grows and increases the demand. So that's one key, and it allows us to earn a passive income. But if we go look on our back office, there's some new keys that have arrived that are available to us. And one of those keys is XLT. XLT is a new key that has arrived on our platform. It's a new opportunity, a new mechanism in order to earn passive income. And XLT really at the end of the day is our property vouchers. It's the token or the ticker or the symbol that represents our ability to get into property. And not just any property. We're going into exclusive living G999 Movenpick with the Movenpick group. And that property, that XLT ticker was made possible because of a private company called Driven Properties. It's a Dubai group in Dubai, young guys, 41-year-old CEO. His top 3 guys are all in their early 30s. They understand cryptocurrencies, they understand blockchain, and they're very excited that there is now an opportunity to tokenize property. What does that mean for you and I? If we choose to access this key, it unlocks the tokenized property space. And again, that means over time, we could see this space growing. Now, why would it grow? Supply and demand. Currently, if we go look at the Dubai property market, there's only a small group of people who can afford to purchase apartments, homes, and hotels. But with XLT, with the ability to now have a key that unlocks tokenized property, anybody can access the property market at about $9.29 at the moment. That means the supply of property available in Dubai will suddenly be under massive demand because more people can access the property market. And when you have an XLT, when you have tokenized property, you're outsourcing the management of that property, you're outsourcing the cost of running, costs involved with that. Sorry, I just want to mute someone over here. Sorry, Emily, don't take offense from me muting you, it's just for recording purposes. Thanks, Emily. But essentially, we've got one key, G999, which we've all understood. We've now got a second key that we can put in our pocket, that we can take out and we can unlock the ability to earn a passive income in the property market in Dubai. In other words, any profits that happens with the properties that have been tokenized are shared back to the community in the proportion of how much of that square meters that you own in that tokenized property. So the XLT that you're seeing on your dashboard, which looks new, that just represents property vouchers, tokenized property. So when we talk to people, we're not just talking about G999 now, we're talking about the ability to also get into property. Then there's another one that has popped up on our dashboard, which you probably all noticed, something called the Lydian Lions. Okay, Lydian Lions, so I'm going to write out the whole thing. Lydian Lions have a relationship with our legacy points. They have a relationship with what we were calling GS World, but which is now called Lydian World. And Lydian World is the gamification of the entire globe of different countries and territories. And that gamification allows the company to measure all products and services moving through certain territories, whether it's Swaziland or South Africa or Canada or France. There are products and services moving through those countries, products like the GS Lifestyle Card, like our tokenized property, like vouchers. Any product that moves through those territories can be tracked, and the portion that goes to the company, a portion of that then gets shared back to anybody who holds Lydian Lions that have locked in their citizenship or were used to lock in their presidency or vice presidency or cabinet minister role. Again, these are just titles, they're not actual roles that you play, so don't stress. But your Lydian Lion accesses that world and allows you to earn a passive income on the products and services moving through that particular territory, give it France, Swaziland, South Africa, etc. So you've got 3 keys here, 3 keys that unlock different earning potentials, 3 keys that unlock different parts within our ecosystem. And the major challenge that's happening at the moment is that the developer teams that have been working independently on the different parts of the ecosystem and have been reporting back together have now brought all that coding into one place. And anytime there's a glitch in one little system, it has a ramification across on the other platforms as well. So right now, even though we've got these keys that are arriving in our pockets that we can pull out and access different parts of the market, it's glitchy at the moment. So I just want to, give a big heads up there. If you're experiencing a glitch, or you're not seeing a value move across, or you're trying to access a part of the ecosystem and you can't, please generate a support ticket. The development teams are working through all of those different glitches at the moment. But I really hope that this can be our starting point for how we process information going forward. In fact, the team that I work with here in South Africa, we've got a call happening on Saturday morning where we're going to take this concept and we're going to kind of widen it out and explode it so that people can take a look at, why do I want G999s? Why do I want to go and buy market vouchers? Why do I want to go and buy bundle packages? Why would I want to go and get into the tokenized property space? How can I set up a passive earning opportunity through that tokenized property? Why would I want Lydian Lions? Why would I want to become a citizen or a mayor or a cabinet minister or president of certain territories within the Lydian world? You see, if we start understanding this, then we start resonating and connecting with which keys are important to me, which keys are important to you, and we're able to position that responsibly. So if this is making sense, if this is starting to help you understand some of the changes that are happening in your back office, maybe just out of 10, so I can kind of gauge where we're at. 10, yes, I understand the concept of the 3 keys now. I understand that there's 3 parts all merging together. 5, 6, I'm sort of getting there, but it's quite overwhelming. 1, I have 0 idea what is going on. I need a whole lot more calls in order to really move forward with this. Okay, we're getting some 10s, we're getting some 5s and 6s, some 8s, that's helpful. I'm just scanning for really low numbers at the moment, because that's great. So I know what we need to be focusing on going forward. 9, 6s, 6s, 9s. Okay, great. So that is helpful. Just to share, Gary's saying Saturday, 12 noon Eastern time. Nitsa Nakos and her team will be unpacking in detail the Lydian world. And so I'm certainly going to be jumping onto that call. I want to better understand how we position the Lydian world so people understand the benefits of plugging into it. And again, our team is going to be doing a 9 a.m. Central African call where we're going to take 2 to 3 hours to go through different parts of the ecosystem and different products that potentially make sense to different people. Remember, not everyone's going to resonate with everything. You might talk to somebody who goes, yes, tokenized property in Dubai, I'm in. But Lydian world, I'm out. You might talk to people like that, and that's okay if we better understand how the ecosystem fits together. Gary, are you asking me if the call on Saturday is open? Yes, we always post it onto team pages. I'll see if we can get onto maybe the GS Partners page. Having said that, with this as our broad brushstrokes, I'd love to hear some of the questions, some of the comments that you have. Remember that this week is meant to be a week of answering some of the questions that the community has. So this is open mic night. It's very simple. If you've got a question, turn your microphone on, turn your camera on so we can see you and ask the question. I'll do my best to answer what I can. And I'm just watching over here to see who's mic'd up and cameraed up and ready to go. So Garth Richmond has a question. I can see his microphone on. Go for it.
Hey, Bruce. So we're having quite a few questions from the guys. Why no mention on the J1? After obviously chatting with you and Andrew, I've got a better understanding, but I think that's a huge question on everyone's lips. If you can address that one. Thanks, mate.
Great. Yeah. So this will be a repeat. We've obviously addressed it on Monday night, addressed it again on Tuesday night. So let's address it again on Thursday night. So J1 was a property deal that came into and onto the table with Joseph Hite and the team. Technically, it's on the table for 6 months. For those of you who'd like to get kind of an understanding as to how the Dubai property market works, it is possible for you to buy directly from a developer as a reseller. So you put down a big deposit, and that deposit gives you access for a certain period, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, to allow you to resell the units that you put a deposit down on. And J1 was one of those, or is one of those, probably a better way of saying that. At the same time, that contract, when you put down a deposit, that contract also puts an onus on the person that you purchase it from to give you fair trade to market it for that period. So J1 has that contract in place all the way until December. So technically it's not off the table until the company says it is, or until that period ends, or until something in the contract changes. But Movenpick came to the table probably about 2 weeks before we arrived in Dubai. Movenpick came with 200 units, and also it came with the promise. Okay. Sorry, guys, I've got someone else in the background here. Don't take offense if I suddenly mute you. The Movenpick guys, the guys from specifically Driven Properties, came to the table with an offer that would, if made good, would open up another large property as well. And so that Movenpick offer is a lot further down the line when it comes to the property being ready in time for the Dubai Expo. So it's a better property to lead with, because then we don't have our vouchers waiting until December in order for us to actually realize that value into income. And so you would have all noticed that J1 vouchers actually changed into June vouchers. And that's to honor the fact that we all bought those in June, and they're not specific to J1 anymore, but we can translate them across directly into the project that'll be ready sooner. And that's the Movenpick Exclusive Living G999 Tower, that I'm sure many of you saw the videos made by the teams that were taken on tours by Driven Properties through that building. So that's the change, guys. J1 became June, became the Movenpick Exclusive Living building, and there is a second development that's coming off the back of that, which is, yeah, it's more exciting, to be honest, than what we're seeing at the moment. We've got 200 units with Movenpick Exclusive Living G999, but this next project is even more than that. So that's what happened with J1. I hope that made sense. Any other questions? I just want to check. We got Shamani Naidu. I can see that your microphone and, well, your microphone's just on, which means you might have a question. Turn your camera on as well if you do. Otherwise, mute yourself so somebody else can ask a question. Go, Shamani.
And it's when you powerful. Like when you say things.
Shamani, we got Leander. I'm going to put you on mute. I'm going to ask you to turn your camera on first, then your microphone, so we can see you, and then fire your question away. Let's see if Leander's still here. Still waiting. Okay, so that might just have been an error. Okay, I'm going to work through some of the comments that are popping through. I think that's helpful. So let me just open up the comment section over here, the chat function. Okay, so Sandra's asking, what's the cost of citizenship to participate in Lydian Lions? Sandra, that cost is dynamic depending on the country. Alex did share off stage that what they did was they found out exactly what the country's GDP was, what its population was, in other words, potential. And then they started looking at how many partners are already registered in those territories, i.e. they went into that KYCs, and then they punched that through a calculation to see how many Lydian Lions it would cost to become a resident in a particular country. And so if you go into Lydian World and you go and type in the different country names, you'll see that different countries have different pricing depending on their potential for growth. So there's no one set price. The second thing to remember with Lydian World is that that is an auction. You're not just paying a once-off fee to become, the president. You pay a fee, and if someone else out auctions you during the auction period, then you go from president down to vice president. It's only really citizenship that has a set fee. Anything above that becomes a dynamic auction. And I believe that that's only going to last for 6 months. But we're waiting for it to go live, because once it's live, then obviously we're able to better audit that and audit the terms and conditions around that. Someone's asking me, what percentage of revenue is generated by the property that's shared back with the token holders? It's a great question, Kelly. Again, we don't have that information yet, or not in a place that I can easily find it. And so if I told you, I think I would just be thumb sucking at the moment. And again, this is a fact-led community. It's why I did this. Let's look at the keys, but let's go get our information from the dashboard once it's in place. And at the moment, I'm finding the dashboard a little bit tricky to navigate and a couple of little glitches. So I'm not pressing any buttons at the moment. I'm not someone who just goes and clicks and spends money. I like to know what I'm spending money on, what the passive income is, and what the best strategy is to take advantage of these different keys that have arrived at our front door. Let's take a look here. Will they share a kind of business plan regarding the properties offered? Harry, great question. Very similar to Kelly's. Let's wait to see what pops up on the back office. I don't want to jump the gun on anything that I'd be guessing on. Let me take a look here. Lydian, no, I've seen that already. What is going on with the community node that you cannot access it from your back office as a customer? It's a great question. I have no idea. I've got a community node purchased under my wife's back office. She is currently registered as a customer. So I just want to see who's asking that question so I can answer you. Herman, I need to actually log on and go take a look myself. I haven't yet looked at it, so I can't comment on it yet. Sorry, I was busy looking at the Lydian world and the breakdown of the new exclusive node that's launched. An exclusive node, for those of you who haven't looked yet, that has to do with XLTs and Lydian lines as well. And so I was looking at that today and I forgot to go and take a look under community node. So I'll have to look first before answering that question. For those of you asking about the exclusive node, why is it necessary? Anytime the company can offer a mechanism to lock up more coins and then reward that locking up with value, that's a win for us. It takes coins off the market. The more coins that are off the market, the better it is for supply and demand. And so that exclusive node, which is going to reward the community, locks up coins into these two spaces here. Okay, that's probably something to look at. I'm going to be taking a look at it as well, but understand what the potential profits of that decision would be. So I will be looking through that shortly. Let me have a look through some of the other questions here. Can you explain what it means G999 as collateral for the property vouchers? Guadalupe, I actually can't yet. Again, it's the back office is a little bit glitchy, and so I can't send stuff across and then see how that translates in value yet. And again, I'm a little bit risk averse, so I'm not going to go and move stuff until I understand that one, the glitches are kind of sorted out, and two, what that translates into. Again, I'm not the right person when it comes to the bleeding edge. The bleeding edge is that person who steps out and just takes all the knocks. I'm quite happy that someone else who wants to go do the bleeding edge does that. I always encourage people to rather be the leading edge, tuck in behind somebody else who wants to go and test run those platforms or those decisions. Sorry guys, I'm just a little risk averse in that space. Let me see what else is coming through here. Lots of good questions. Ratio of focus on what the company G999 versus other coins. I don't really know what that question is. Yeah, I have no idea if that is a question. So maybe the person who typed that can type that again. Let's take a look at the next one. Do any of the changes affect the master nodes and how much we get paid? Absolutely not. Master nodes have to do with securing the blockchain. Remember that we've got a two-tier system. We've got master noding and we've got staking. So think of those as stakes put in the ground to run fences to protect the super highway that is the G999 blockchain. That's not masternoding and staking do. And because you have set your coins and provided that security, you get paid out a set income. That is different to community nodes. Community nodes is not to secure the blockchain. That's actually to lock up coins and reward those people with a 11.99% return. And that's also different to exclusive nodes, which is to lock up coins and reward those people with access into Lydian World and XLT. So those types of nodes are not noding in the sense of two-tier security systems securing the blockchain. Staking and masternoding do that. Let's have a little look if some of the questions are cleared up there. Do we have a circulating supply official of G999s? Yeah, Jonathan, go into the Deflationary Explorer, go into the G999 Explorer. You'll be able to see how many coins are moving. You'll be able to see how many coins are locked up in staking, how many coins are locked up in noding, how many coins are locked up in community noding, how many coins are sitting in corporate's own wallets. You'll be able to look at all of that. It's all there, transparent, it's accessible. It's fairly easy to break down. I'll give you a plus minus numbers here. I need to actually open it up. But if you go look at community noding, 2 billion coins locked up. If you go look at master noding, I think it's 1.5, what was it, 750,000 times 4,000. Just do the math on that on a calculator. Corporate wallet sits at anything between 3 and 4 billion. And the reason why I say anything between 3 and 4 billion is 3 is currently in the wallet that I can see. I know another billion moved into a separate wallet for a certain incentive. If I go look at staking, we're sitting at just under 2 billion there. So you can actually go and look at that breakdown for yourself. All right, let me take a look what else is on here. Someone's doing the math for me. Whoever's doing the math in the comment section, please keep doing that. That's very helpful. Right, Jordy's asking, could you tell something about the attention from outside of our community for the G999 coin and services post-launch? Oh, Jordy, give me one more week. Give me one more week to find out if a very specific advertising campaign has been signed off of, because that is a great question. You know, everybody wants to know, what is the company doing to market outside of our community? Obviously, one, that's our job. Where, you know, if you're a partner and you've gone and paid your partner fee, that's our job. But there's also a PR process at play here, and I can tell you that my last night in Dubai, sitting down with the same team, there's a very specific company that does all the activations for the Burj. That same team is involved with a massive global campaign, and we're just seeing whether or not company and that team are going to sign off on a campaign that I think is going to really excite everybody here. You know that I'm not a hype person, but knowing the particular campaign that we might just plug into, it is massive. It really is massive without kind of straying into the hype zone there. It'll be big. So give us another week to find out about that. If if that happens, we'll all be quite excited about it. Let me take a look what else has come through here. Okay, mass adoption, rising block star. Okay, do we know yet if we must upgrade our PAM? Excuse me. Do we know yet if we must upgrade our PAM in order to be involved with wealth, world, and property? Teresa, such a good question. We had a conversation with a small group of us today around the wealth world, or what we would call our, I think it's smart, sorry, the titles have all changed. Smart market or smart world or whatever it's called, yeah, wealth world. I haven't been able to access that dashboard yet, so I don't know how the two interact with each other yet. And so I would be making that up. As for your question on property, you should already have seen that your legacy points as a PAM holder, as a partner who was advertising any commissions, you should have seen that your legacy points would have translated into certain values on your back office that can be shifted across into XLT, shifted into Lydian Lions. But again, I get that the dashboard's a little glitchy to navigate at the moment. So here's what here's not what I'm advising people, but I'm very, very comfortable with saying, let's slow down in order to speed up again. In other words, let's slow down, get the developer team to sort out their stuff. Let's also, as a community, take time to all go and take a look at the different parts of the ecosystem and how they talk to each other. This week for me, now that I'm home and settled, will be opening up my back office and figuring out how best to see and leverage the different parts in the back office. I know that that's what NEETS is training into her community at the moment. I know a lot of the council are looking at that closely. Plus, we've got just brilliant people, traders, and critical thinkers in our community who probably worth you doing the same thing. One gentleman who I want to give a shout out to is Michael Harden. Michael Harden sits on the G999 main community page, very clear thinker, quite critical thinker, not negative, critical. Michael, I'd love to see your thoughts once you've opened up the back office and seen how the different parts interact. I think you'll be able to see how to really connect those pieces as well. So guys, we've gone on 6 o'clock, top of the hour. That's our 30 minutes, power half hour kind of wrapped up. But here's how I want to maybe summarize tonight. Please understand that up until now, we've only had one key and we've really only had one form of passive income. The company has kept their word and bought tokenized property, a second key to the markets. They've kept their word and they've bought in what I like to call a commonwealth purse. That's what the Lydian line and Lydian world is. And so really what we've got to do with this information over the next 1 to 2 weeks is get clarity on how they're going to interact and also then on how best to position it to friends, family, professionals who want to plug into 1, 2, 3, or all of the ecosystem, because those are just choices we all get to make. So let's go on this journey together. Let's really seek out some real clarity around this. I don't have that right now. I've got kind of the big overview thinking of it, but I haven't gone into the nuts and bolts. I'm home. I'm in my own space. I'm getting sleep again. Trust me, I'm going to get into the nuts and bolts and try to share that as soon as possible. So have a fantastic evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Thanks for jumping on this call. I'll be able to post this into the group probably in the next 30 to 60 minutes. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers, Bruce. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Thanks. Thanks.